Barry M. Show Live. Let's kick back, relax, and chat for a few. This show is all about the folks who actually pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's movie tickets, fashion, television, you name it. We, the everyday ordinary people, are the ones who get the celebrities paid.
If there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to.
But this episode is all about relationships.
And if there's anyone that I know I took the sun away from, hey, I know it's you, baby. At the time I didn't know me, I couldn't even control me. The last thing I wanted was for you to be the one I fronted. I thought only of myself, broke my own heart when I left you. And I'm sorry, baby, 'cause you
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Barry M. Show Live. Y'all don't know how excited I am today with my guest today, because my guest today, this is a man that's real. You see, he could have been just like me, black, white, green, or purple. We still gonna bring the same fruits to the table. You understand what I'm saying? And this brother right here, he's been around the block a few times. He's a husband, a father.
Yes.
He's an entrepreneur. He has his own business, and just like all the rest of us, hey, we got a background and we got a future ahead of us. And right now we got right now. So I'd like to introduce you all to my very special guest today, Jerome Thorpe. How about a nice round of applause for Jerome Thorpe? How you doing?
I'm glad to
Look here.
Oh yeah.
We got a mutual friend, as you know, who told me about you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have you on my show. You already know what the show is about.
Yeah.
I've already told the people what the show is about. We about everyday, ordinary people who got something to say. Because the bottom line is, we the one who pay the bills.
Oh yeah.
Everybody way up here, where they get their money from?
From us.
All right there. They ought to listen to us a little bit better. What you say?
They should always listen to us.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Man, how's everything going?
Oh, it's
tonight,
going
man?
good, man. You know, I'm just really enjoying life. I'm more grateful than anything for where I'm at today.
That's what I'm
You
talking
know,
about, man.
I'm more grateful than anything than where I'm at today.
Hey, man, how the family and everything, man?
Oh, my family, you know, they making it just like anybody else. You know, we don't, you know, make no facade up that we doing so good that I don't even have to get up in the morning. I can lamp off my mama paycheck and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, you know, they just like anybody else. They have to get up and grind. You know,
Hey,
go
man,
get it.
I totally respect that. You know, because like, see, you know, the world as a whole, a lot of people intelligent. You know what I mean? And a lot of people pay attention to the right things. But the world as a whole, man, they need to understand that brothers like me and you, man. See, first of all, we're not incarcerated.
No.
Okay, first.
No.
Second of all, we're not walking up and down the street all zombied out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
They're
saying?
holding signs up.
Our minds fried up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We out, we working hard.
Yeah.
We got families. We setting the right examples for our children.
Yeah, we is. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we doing the best that we can for our own community.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what? A lot of people are appreciating us for that. Huh?
I know.
A lot of people appreciating us for what we're doing.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because a lot of people that I've met that because I got my ass on Craigslist for my jobs and stuff that I do.
Right.
You know, I don't have a job like working at McDonald's or no big corporation.
Right.
So what I do is I have ads posted on Craigslist, and the people now, I give them like the Iron Man moving and label. You know, that's me. And so what I tell them, I got the best rates in town.
Yeah.
And what I do is, when anybody call me for a job, you know, even though sometimes, you know, I have to lowball myself because I don't want to leave no money on the ground.
Right.
You know, because I know that I need this money to help with my bills and everything.
Exactly. And you know the same thing with me, man, with my work. You know, sometime I might have like I might go 2 or 3 days with little to no work.
Yeah.
But when the phone start ringing,
Yeah.
and the work start coming
Yeah.
in, you know, I gotta get it. It's coming right there.
Yeah.
I gotta get it right there.
Yeah.
And you know, man, there's a lot of brothers everywhere, just like us.
Yeah.
And we don't always get the credit we deserve, man.
I know it.
You know, we have a lot of sisters be bashing us.
Yeah.
We got a lot of other races be bashing us.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming at us, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got a lot of stuff coming up, and we hold up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
hold
all
up with the little resources that we got. We
Yeah.
hold up and we keep on getting it
And
done.
we keep making it happen because you know life has you know sometimes like in life experience
Mm-hmm.
okay for the things we done been through in life.
Mhm.
Okay, so a lot of times we don't let things today that used to bother us, it don't affect us as
Right.
much as they used to
Right.
because we had to grow out of that
Right.
and learn that, hey, that don't even belong to me. So I ain't even got no business being there letting that throw off my structure and my balance of what I got to do.
Yeah. You know, so that's right there is a very, very good point to make, man, because, you know, when I go to church, you know, I'm a musician in the church.
Yeah,
And almost every service
yeah,
in our churches,
yeah,
you know, the preachers is putting emphasis on the need for black men to carry the ball.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And do better and all them kind of things like that, you know, and one of the things that's a positive thing,
yeah,
but there's a negative spin on it that we all as a community tend to suffer from worldwide, is when you say something like that, there's this little implication, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That is like saying, see, if you say a group of people or a certain category of people, they need to get their stuff together,
yeah,
that almost implies that they don't all have their stuff together.
yeah,
And then you got all these brothers like us,
Yeah.
that we got our stuff
yeah,
together.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that it ain't always about the dollar bill,
Yeah.
that says even more about us.
yeah. It does. It does.
That says even more
Because
about
a lot of times, what people go off of basically is what somebody else done told them about you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
instead of them getting to know you,
You.
as an individual, as a
Mhm.
person, getting to understand your pain,
Mhm.
you know, your happiness, your joy.
Mhm.
About, I mean, really getting to know you as a human being,
Right.
as a person.
Right.
And what they need to do is basically like when you wake up in the morning,
Mhm.
have a camera there to follow you everywhere you go, so they can see what you do in your day. You know what I'm saying?
At the top of the day.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, at the end of the
Oh
day,
boy, it's gonna
you
be a
understand?
whole lot of editing going on.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
The average person gonna edit a lot of stuff out
Yeah.
because they're not courageous enough to be that kind of open and real.
Yeah, but they got to. If
Yeah.
that's the only way that your eyes gonna open to what's real.
Yeah.
If you got with a person that is real about everything that's going around.
You know, I think that's got a little bit to do with what Michael Jackson was saying about when he said starting with that man in the
Yeah,
mirror.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, people talk that, but they don't walk that.
No.
It's too easy to point the finger and say, look at the other guy.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know, one of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite movies to this day is Scarface.
uh-huh.
You know, when Tony Montana was in the restaurant. Did you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And he said he was tore up from the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, it was.
He said, you need people like me
Yeah,
so that you can say, that's the bad guy.
yeah, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
The reason why I like that scene because that's so real.
Yeah,
He was a bad
He
guy,
was a bad
but he
guy.
made a valid point
Yeah.
to what the perspective of what we talking about.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You got so many people, man, that they're so arrogant.
yeah,
You know, people in our own communities, people that we will never know.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? They so arrogant that, you know, you can be in a shopping center or a 7-Eleven standing right next to them, and unless you're doing something outlandish or something, they'll never see you.
uh-huh. Yeah,
They'll never see you, and you'll be standing right next to them. You know, because they're so blinded by the lifestyle that they live in, and things that's important to them, that they don't pay attention really to what's directly around them. And that's one of the reasons where, this is not by any means, and I think the viewers can see that, this is not an angry black man show.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I want to accomplish with this particular episode is I want people to understand that a black man is real, okay? And we bring a lot of positive to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at any group of people, whether it's male, female, whether it's young and old, you can find some good and you can find some negative and you can find some in between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there are a lot of folks say that we are an endangered species and all this and that and the other, and there's a lot of stuff going down at them courthouses. In fact, I was at choir rehearsal the other night, and one of the choir members was saying that, man, the judge sent some black folks to prison this week. Man, it is a shame, and they're giving them big time, giving them 50, 60 years. I mean, left and right, just like she said, a whole bunch of black folk went to prison this week. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just something about that always bothers me, because the world wants to see a lot of black men in the light that does not reflect, people like me and you.
Yeah.
Because, we may be black men, but we people.
Always.
You see what I'm saying?
There's only one Top Gear Live, the official entertainment registry for professional artists and businesses.
The Barry M. Show Live. The people who pay the celebrities' bills have got something to say.
Stupid people who think they can outsmart me make me mad.
Oh yeah, we talk about everything.
If you plan on looking at something for a long, long time, the black don't crack, baby. That's all I want to say.
I just don't like a lying nigga. If you say you gonna do something, you do it.
What really pissed me off is how black men are being treated in the court system.
When I see young black men walking down the street with their pants down to the calf, they got a belt on now, but they still holding them pants up.
Come aboard and enjoy the show.
I hate when somebody just comes to my house unannounced. You should be courteous enough to call and say, hey, I'm coming by, I'm stopping by, rather than just stop by unannounced.
Because they know we gonna fight back.
The Barry M. Show Live.
Teachers being underpaid.
Visit BarrySMcleod.com.
Next joker I get. Best time ever. You know how much?
We're people.
We're always people, man.
We go into 7-Eleven, we spend money. You know how many companies got making money out the 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Making money off of us?
Yeah.
We go in the grocery store, we do the same thing.
Our money spend too.
You know what I'm saying?
Our money spend. We might not have as much money as everybody else, but the thing is how you be managing that money. And when you was talking about the part about the people that's in prison, about they sending all them brothers, getting them a whole bunch of time. Okay, now what we have to realize is this ain't something that just started. You understand what I'm saying? So what we have to do is we have to be able to see and recognize, okay, when you go in front of that man, that's what they're going to do to you. They're going to shoot that time on you because they did it to me. And they ain't going to offer you no help for what caused you to commit the crime to go to prison, see? And when you get in prison, they're not going to give you the real resources that they have available, listen to me now, that they have available to help you get out and be a productive person in society. Because you got to understand, most institutions have anywhere from 700 to 1,500 inmates. Okay, everybody can't work in the kitchen. 1,800 inmates can't work in the kitchen. 1,800 inmates can't work in classification. 1,800 inmates can't go in a classroom where only hold 20 inmates. You see what I'm saying? So what they do is early in the morning, they tell you to get out, go on the rec yard. Now, you on the rec yard with so many different levels of criminals. You might be in there because you like to shoplift it one more time, more than you should have did, right? But you might be sleeping next to a guy with 2 mandatory life sentences. Ain't never finna get out of prison.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So here you is, a person that with a year and a day, they put you in the room with a guy that got 2 mandatory sentences. Ain't finna never get out of prison.
Right.
So now, you stuck in there with him. What you think he finna pollute your mind with?
Exactly. For our audience's sake, one of the reasons why my guest today is so special is because, as he just shared with you, you know, he's been to prison. Okay, he knows what he's talking about firsthand, and he's a model example of a person who can go through an experience that that was very impactful to his life, and he was able to come out and get his stuff together and be productive and be of benefit to his community. And via this show, he's able to be productive to many other people, because I promise you that the majority of you watching this show has a family member, if it's not you, who can relate to everything that he's talking about. So this is very, very positive, and I commend Jerome for being the person that he is, because he truly learned from his experience. He's capitalized off of what he's gone through and the reality that was before him once he was able to walk out of prison. And he has been out of prison for how long now?
Oh, I got out in 2002.
2002.
And I failed in 1989.
In 1989, and he got out in 2002.
And have not been back.
And have not been back.
Got out with no probation, no nothing.
No probation, no nothing. Anything about that? How deep you want to share with people about your experience in prison?
Well, you know, I'm not afraid or ashamed to let nobody know that I've been to prison, because that's part of my story. See, you know, because see, a lot of times you have to be. If I'm gonna teach you how to fly and land an airplane, I must have flew it and landed it myself.
Absolutely.
See, this is where the experience come in.
Right.
Okay, basically, prison for me was where I got the opportunity to look at my faults. You know, to look at areas of my life that were causing me to be incarcerated for the length of time that I was and the things that I did. But see, when I went into prison, you know, I didn't just go on the rec yard every day. You know, and I didn't hang around guys who did not want to do better with themselves. So when I went in there, I picked up the law books. I learned law. Okay, I got deep into the Bible. I was the head of the Black History Month committee. I even was I had the job working for the superintendent, you know, at the prison. I was the butcher, you know, at FSP, in the kitchen and all that. But the thing is, see, a lot of people came up to me while I was after they seen the kind of person I was. I wasn't with no boys. I wasn't with none of that stuff, because I believe in God, the universal language that God speaks of.
Right.
And that is where I had the opportunity to get into a real deep personal relationship with God. And what helped me out more than anything, I looked for positive things to do in there. Instead of trying to think about how I'm going to make my next, millions of dollars selling drugs, I was in there thanking God for the wisdom and knowledge He was allowing me to acquire while I was in there.
And this is taking place with all the distractions, with all the little opportunities that a lot of inmates were not able to walk away from.
Yeah. They wasn't, a lot of them, see, what happened mostly is, okay, it ain't so much as the inmates too. Now, let's talk about the officers too. See, the officers, are also bad influence on inmates to put that anger and that hate, that pure hate in their heart. Okay, but here's the deal. If I know you as an officer, and I know you a redneck, I know you hate niggas, period, blacks. Right. You don't even like yourself. Okay, so my thing is, when you see me, you know what I want you to notice me as? Somebody that never gets in trouble. He never, you know, when it's time for him, when he walk in there, where he seeing me at, on my bed reading. You know, when he want to come through and like inspect your bunk, look through your locker for contraband and all that stuff. He looking for trouble. Yeah, he looking for trouble. So what I have for him ain't nothing but a whole bunch of knowledge over here. See? And so when I, yes sir, no sir. You know, when he ask me something, ain't no, yeah. I say yes sir, no sir when they ask me a question. Because I know the quicker that I can get you out my way, the more peace I'm going to have during my time. But see, I'm not finna get into an arguing match with you because, see, right now I ain't got no power. Right.
Let me ask you this, in contrast to where you are, because I don't want to take you away from that. I want you to contrast this perspective that I'm gonna give you with being with that correction officer or those correction officers. Okay, you know, there's a consensus out here that a lot of our black people feel this way. Yeah, especially black men. Is that a lot of the police out here? They seem to be more satisfied and hyped up in making an arrest on a brother who got his stuff together. Yeah. As opposed to a brother that they can consider a habitual offender. You know, because that personal thing, whether racism, whatever it is, I'm sure it's a lot of that. Yeah. You know, like here, like you see a black man and you pull him over, he ran a red light or some little small something like that, and you pull him over and you want to handle him as rough as you can. You want to go through every measure that you can to try to put them cuffs on him and take him to the county jail. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And you're more motivated to do it simply because you see that he does not represent trouble. Yeah. He does not represent the problems that you all say that you are most involved with trying to deal with. I may not be saying that the most accurate way, but I'm trying not to say a thug. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying not to say. But really, how they classify a lot of black men as a thug. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you would think that when they would come across a true thug, meaning somebody that they're always about trouble. That's what they. That's just what they live.
That's on their resume.
You know, so instead of you being more excited to, arrest him, whether it's again or whatever, a lot of them seem to have a bigger thrill out of arresting that guy who got a good job, a good home, a good family. He represents something. To me, that's like a bigger trophy. Yeah. Is it any kind of a dynamic like that with the correction officer? Like you say, you say that you showing them positive, and they actually looking for trouble. Yes. So how can they really appreciate your positive if they really looking for trouble? Yes. Is what I'm saying.
Yes. You have some in there that know what you was about, and what they try to do when they know that you're one who ain't about trouble. Or none of that stuff like that. It seems like sometimes they'll try to push your button to see can they get you to come negative to them.
When you're doing fine.
When you're doing fine, you ain't doing nothing wrong.
When they should be appreciating
that. Should be appreciating what you doing. Because I ran into them kind too. You know, like, oh, there go Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Let me check your locker and stand over there. You know? And then you don't say nothing, they be saying, what you said, did you hear him say something? You know, they come at you like that. But what you got to remember is that, you know, it's evil in all kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Right. So what you got to recognize for real is that, look, you see this man trying to blow your cool. You know, the best thing you got to do, you got to eat this. Yeah. You got to eat it for real. Right. Because if you don't, they finna jam your date. Because based on the officer statement, the DR board find you guilty.
Right.
You ain't got no say-so in there.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the reasons why, another one of the reasons why I don't never want to put myself in the position to be under that kind of slavery. That's like putting your own self back in slavery.
Right. Right.
You know, I don't never want to do that.
Like volunteering.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out, when you're doing something that you know that's what the result is going to be. You know, and you actually can avoid it. You know, it's not like being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you just made a mistake. You know what I mean? When you just continue, you know. But you know, I watch people out here criticize, say for example, a woman who it's either her husband that's incarcerated or her boyfriend, and she's loyal to him and stuff like that. And people say, "You're a fool. Here and there, he gonna be in all them years. Why you still wasting your time like you got some kind of hope? What kind of love is that? What you got to say to something?
She ain't no fool, man. That woman ain't no fool, because the reason that woman care. See, when you get somebody that care about somebody, and they in a position or in a place where there's really no love really being shown, just to get that visit on the weekend for them couple of hours.
Right.
You know, that is so important to that person. That's part of his, when I get out, I ain't never coming back here no more.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. You know we're not talking about everybody, because you know, one of the things that I'm going to stop saying it, you know, when I'm doing a recording, because I on the screen I always say at the top of the show that what we're talking about is not about everybody. We cannot speak for everybody. You know what I mean? But we're having a conversation. And hopefully there'll be something that everybody can benefit and gain from the overall conversation. You know, but you know, it's easy for people to say something when they're not in that kind of position. You know, in my business, I've had so many people that when the conversation come up about somebody just got locked up or somebody is being considered for parole, you got a lot of our own people that just say, you know.
And that's sad.
Could care less about it. You know what I mean?
And that's real sad.
Yeah, it is.
And to be honest with you, that's real sad, because, you know, I grew up in a time, in an era just like you. I remember when we could walk out the door, leave the house, and there was so much love in the hood.
Right.
Okay? I'm talking about that real love, because if you go down the street and you do something wrong, now here's the deal. That neighbor down there gonna whoop you.
Right.
Because she know you ain't got no business doing what you did. And you, please, she don't whoop you, and you ask her, please don't tell my mama. Please, because you know when you get home, your mama gonna whoop you for what you did.
And but thank her for whooping.
And thank her, you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, we have to look at where people are at today with their spirituality. And how, you know, because you got a lot of people, man, and I've seen this with my own eyes. They worry and don't care about things need to be cared for and things to be worried about. Because if this woman is going into the prison and she visiting this guy, okay, where is that should be bothering you that she is doing that?
She's not taking anything away
She's not taking anything away from you. But what she really is, she giving something, man, that y'all ain't giving right now.
You're right. Man, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. The preacher was saying Sunday, he say, y'all know this person here is incarcerated, been gone for several years, and you have never put forth one effort. You know, and then when he get out, you want to act like you care about it.
Yeah. Oh man, I can tell you a whole. Now here goes something, man. I'm glad you brought that one there up, because man, let me tell you something. You know, when I was doing all that time that I was in prison, not one time when I called my mama did she say such and such and such brought $20 over here or $10 and said send these to Jerome, you know, so he could have some. It was always my mama, my grandmama, and my aunt now that looked out for me out of all them years. Now another thing I did, I'm an artist, I can draw. So a lot of times I made money off of officers for drawing portraits and all that stuff like that. But here's the deal. When I got out of prison, and you know, I done did a whole bunch of time now. When I got out of prison, you should have seen the people acting like they was happy to see me. And guess what they tried to do? Send me right back to prison. The first time I get out, the first thing they're going to ask me, am I straight? Yeah, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying?
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Oh, look at let's ride.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right back to
I want to take me right back to immediately.
You ain't got 24
you know
hours.
You ain't got 24 hours. Yeah. And the first thing they trying to do, so what I did, when I got out of prison, I recognized who you is. You know?
Do you enjoy a good read? You need to check out Why I Did 'Em That Way by author, playwright, director Barry S. Mcleod. This author shares with you some things that happened in 10 of his main relationships. You'll be surprised at what he details, especially realizing why he chose the actual women he dated and loved, and why those relationships busted. Get your ebook or paperback copy at barrysmcleod.com.
Need some help with moving? Got some stuff that needs hauling away? Looking for the right professional? Don't hurt your back. Look no further. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. You want it transported or you want it gone? Whether it's household items or just plain old trash. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. We've got the best rates in town. Pick up the phone and call 352-575-5266 and let the Iron Man work for you.
At first, now I'm going to tell you something. At first, I couldn't see that. You know, but when I got out of prison, see, I was going to surround myself around people that want to help me do better.
Right.
You know, so what I did, and I'm talking about even some of my kinfolk. You know?
I'm so glad you brought up, man, because there's so many young brothers.
Yeah.
That's incarcerated right now, and there's a line of them that's headed there right now. They waiting on their court date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they really need to get what you just said, because if they're fortunate enough, and hopefully they will be, the time is gonna come when it'll be time to get out. You know, especially those that don't have basically a life sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, to me, if I'm 20, 19, you know, and when I get out, I'm going to be 70 and 80.
Yeah, oh, it's game over.
You know what I mean? But for those, especially, man, who going to do 5 a dime,
yeah, get out.
15,
yeah, get out.
20, you know what I mean? You
got an opportunity, you got a lot left in you, but what you got to do is, though, see, and I like what you said, see what the whole deal is right here, you got to start seeing what you can do to be a better productive person in society. See, you got to really get into that part of your structure of what you want to do with yourself.
Right.
Okay? And the only way to do that, you got to start getting involved with positive people in your life.
Right.
And what I mean by getting involved with positive people in your life, get out, and you know, like your mama or you got an uncle that got his own business. He ain't been in no trouble, and he really care about you.
Right.
You know, and he want to see you do good. He gonna help you do good. Okay, you gotta recognize when your help is there. Okay, and once you do that, then that door leads to another door being open. But I'm gonna be straight up with you. You cannot get out and be dealing with people that are gonna really hinder you.
Right.
Because what they're going to do, they're going to set you back again 10,
because
15,
a
20
real
years.
A real friend is going to say, well, look at him. boy, you just did all that right there.
Yeah.
Man, you can't. We can't put you right back in that same
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Now, if we're gonna do a couple of things, we got to make sure that it's in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
We can't be rolling
Yeah.
and doing. But because now, I've owned and operated 2 nightclubs.
Yeah.
Okay, and one of the first things brothers want to do when they get out is go to the club.
Oh boy.
That's one of the first things they want to do.
That's not no good.
And my first club in particular, I always welcome law enforcement.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like, look, I'm running it clean, so I ain't got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So to have that extra security in there.
There's a plus.
Excuse me. And so, but that was my first one, and I kind of learned from being in that situation, that without even coming to me, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
But the police, they go to the club to find who they looking for because they know they gonna automatically be
and
right
violate.
there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure, brother, you ain't got that figured out.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got that figured out.
A lot of them when they
don't have to go through the neighborhood looking for you. They gonna go to this spot
they
right
go,
here.
They gonna go to your own
be.
stomping ground. That's what they do. See, a lot of times what you gotta realize is with most people, I'm gonna say about 95% of the people that been to prison get out, they get out on some kind of paper.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Okay, now when you sign that piece of paper to get out, that you're not supposed to be in no kind of environment or nothing like that. Because if you do, that's a violation.
Right.
Okay, and the officer who been waiting on you to get out, because they give it like with me when I got out, what the hell you do, you have to go down to the police department and let them know that you back in town. Okay,
right.
So they automatically know you out because you have to go there and let them know that you back in town.
Right.
And so, I mean, even though I had to do that, it didn't bother me. I'm gonna tell you why it didn't bother me, because see, my mind was made up. This is it for me.
Right.
I'm not finna be caught up in y'all institutionalized system anymore, because let me tell you something. Do you know it feels so good that I can get in my truck and go to any store that I want to and buy what I want to. I can eat what I want to eat.
Right.
I can go to sleep when I want to sleep. Wake up when I want to wake up.
The holiday just went by. You can get in your car and go to the beach.
And see my mama and them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, a lot of times, certain things that you got to know what's important to you. You know what really have good, true, sentimental value, man.
Right.
Because I don't never, and I meant this too, bro, I would never ever put myself in a situation where I have somebody tell me what to eat, when to sleep, when I can piss.
Right.
And all of that. They in complete control of your life. And if you in prison and you can't see that, maybe you need to open up your eyes and see just how much control that the penal system really have on you. And and it's like this. I made that choice to go in there, and I also made the one to stay out. So I ain't gonna, I hope a lot of brothers, that even the ones that make see this right here, and this is what I want to share right here. You do not have to build statistics.
Right.
You can do something different.
Right.
Because just like me, where I started working at McDonald's when I got out. Working at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. I did all kind of jobs. I was determined not to go back into no place like that, because I knew I was better than that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I knew I was better than what I had portrayed myself to be.
This everything you saying, man, is so good. I know that a lot of mothers is going to embrace this interview, and you're speaking what they're speaking, and you're making it plain and clear. And I just hope that a lot of mothers are able to just get their sons and nephews, even some of their daughters, to just sit down. If they don't, and tell them, say, if you don't watch but just this part of this interview,
Yeah.
just give it 2 minutes. Just watch this part for 2 minutes. Pick out the part that you most want them to watch. If they don't want to have the patience to watch the whole thing, just pick out this part and just pause it and say, look, I just want you to just give me 2 minutes of your time and sit down and watch this part. Because Jerome is giving you a whole wealth of information and knowledge that is pure. It's pure. It's not watered down. You're listening to him. It is not watered down. And this is all about being a benefit to somebody else. Okay? Now, another thing that I feel personal about, man, one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
That I want us to just talk about this for a little bit, you know. You know one thing, man, that bothered me almost as much as racism?
What's that?
Church folk.
Okay. Oh Lord, man. I
heard some stories about
Yeah.
some of these prison ministries.
Yeah.
Some of these churches that have prison ministries.
Yeah.
And they want to go to the prison and they want to minister to the prison. All great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
we ain't knocking
but,
that
but
down.
what is the hidden agendas
Yeah.
behind some of this stuff?
Yeah.
They want to get Jerome when he get out to come join their church and be what they want Jerome to be, instead of allowing Jerome to be what Jerome is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if Jerome does not comply,
Yeah.
Jerome is thrown under the bus.
Yes. You gonna be thrown under the bus. Not only is you gonna be thrown under the bus, but you gonna get a bunch of slander thrown at your name. But the thing is, see, what a lot of people don't realize, that the ones that come into the ministry, that come into the prison to minister to the inmates, they gotta realize that first, you dealing with somebody like the majority of the guys, let me just say this, that are in prison, that is going to these ministers that's coming into the prison, they is deep in the word.
The majority of
The majority of them. They is like me. I learned that
it's not a for show thing. They not manipulating. They not running game.
No, they ain't running game. They is deep into the word. And I mean, like, understanding what God is. Just like I done had some come to me and tell me, have you prayed to Jesus today? Right? So I ain't being funny with you, but I said, no, I'm gonna pray to the person that Jesus was praying to. I ain't never seen Jesus pray to Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? So, ain't nowhere in the Bible where I seen Jesus say, pray to me.
Ooh, boy,
and
I can see some pastors out there right now already stirred up.
No, for real. Because see, when we talk about prayer and stuff like that, when you come to somebody that's deep into the word, that really know God's words, right? Now you got a lot of people, they can tell you a whole bunch of stuff about Jesus, but they can't tell you nothing about God. Now, that's something that you must have.
It's 100,000 of them right now that want to cut in on this conversation. But they both one. They all one. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They all is one. That's what they want to tell you.
They want to tell you that right now, but they got to realize that, okay, Jesus, when he was with the disciples say, Master, when we pray, how do we pray? And Jesus said, we pray, our Father up in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Okay, he said, pray to the Father. Okay, he never once said, pray to me. And and a lot of times the people are...
Man, that's real. That's so real right there, what you just said.
A lot of times people they'll get in there and want to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but see, who is teaching you the Bible? Who is teaching you God's word? I mean, if you letting somebody else teach you the word, then that's where you really is going to be falling short, because see, the best way that you can know God's word, you got to pick it up, pray, and ask God to give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. because I had, let me just say this, there's a whole bunch of them in my family that, you know, it's a bunch of them go to church and everything. So, but they really didn't know how deep that I was into the Bible. So I was having a conversation. I mean, they deacons and all of this stuff. We are under the tree and we talking, right? And so I was telling them about Abraham and Sarah. And I was telling them about, so we got into the part about Black History Month, you know, about blacks and, you know, the geological, where everything is at. And I was talking about, like, Abraham. How when God told Abraham to know for sure that your seed should be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. I say, in a stranger in a land that is not theirs, that they ain't never been to before, never saw. Okay, the majority of people think it's when they went to Egypt. And I said, and I was being straight up, it's not when he went to Egypt, because he's already been to Egypt. Because that's where the king had saw Sarah and tried to take her, and God came to him in a dream. And they told me, that ain't in the Bible. So I had to go home, go across the street to my mama's house and get my Bible and show it to him. Now, first thing, guess what they said out there? Oh, he been to prison. That's where he learned the Bible at, like he did.
Like it ain't valid.
Yeah, just because I got it in there. But you got to understand. See, that's where God put me at, so he can put his word in my heart.
Exactly.
You know? And see, that's part of my change. That's how the change came about. Because, see, even though, I'm going to tell you a story that I was in prison. And I went to call my mom, right? Because I needed some money. And so when I called my mama said, boy, I had a good dream about you last night. I had a dream about you like that, right? So I said, you know, here go my thing. I'm like, okay, mama, you know, I'm ready for her to go and get this over with because I need to ask you for this money. Right? This is where I'm at. And my mama said, Jerome, baby, I had a dream you was in church preaching the gospel. Listen to this. When my mama told me that, I ain't even had no inkling that I'll be picking up the Bible, getting deep into it, the way I am. And you know, I always remind, in the conversation when I call my mama and talk on the phone, we talk about nothing but the Bible. You know, stories in the Bible. You know, how Jesus was really a comedian too. Because he'll crack on you hard. Just like he told, what is his name, the centurion who wanted to ask him, how can he be born again? You know, must I go back into my mother's womb, right? You understand what I'm saying? And Jesus cracked on him when he answered his question. So I laugh, you know, I get some humor. I get some humor out of that too.
Man, you know.
Do you enjoy a good read? You need to check out Why I Did 'Em That Way by author, playwright, director Barry S. Mcleod. This author shares with you some things that happened in 10 of his main relationships. You'll be surprised at what he details, especially realizing why he chose the actual women he dated and loved, and why those relationships busted. Get your ebook or paperback copy at barrysmcleod.com.
There's only one Top Gear Live, the official entertainment industry for professional artists and businesses.
Need some help with moving? Got some stuff that needs hauling away? Looking for the right professional? Don't hurt your back. Look no further. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. You want it transported or you want it gone? Whether it's household items or just plain old trash. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. We've got the best rates in town. Pick up the phone and call 352-575-5266 and let the Iron Man work for you.
That's real deep, you know. You cannot devalue another person's perspective.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to get knowledge.
Yeah.
Because you got to at least listen to it and you got to consider it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can do whatever fact finding you want to do
Yeah.
in the process if it mean that much to you.
Yeah.
You know, but when you can dismiss somebody else's perspective without even really looking into it,
Yeah.
you're not really being as wise as you should be or can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything you said, I'm gonna have to use some of that for some promotional sound bites, man, because it's thought provoking.
Yeah.
It's thought provoking. You know what I mean? But one of the things that I'm all the way down with you with is like about 3 weeks or so ago, a friend of mine, I was sharing with him this area in the Bible. I'm not gonna get the Bible. I got it like right
Yeah,
there.
we right here. We good.
And I can show it to you. It's speaking of where Jesus sent an evil spirit down to deal with. I believe it was Saul.
Yeah.
And the next verse said that one of Saul's servants told him, God has sent an evil spirit down to deal with you.
Yeah.
And so we got into this thing. I said, man, you see, God did that. And he was like, no, God ain't do that. The devil did that. I'm like, read what this says. The devil name don't come up nowhere in it. So he said, well, you know, you got to go over here and read this and read this. I said, no, I ain't talking about all the way over there. I'm talking about right here on this page, on this line, on this verse. This is what I'm talking about. We ain't going all the way over here. We're going to deal with right here what it says right here.
That up because, see, a lot of people, listen to this, and I'm going to give it to you blood raw. And this is in the Bible. Ain't nothing that was made that wasn't made by God.
Exactly.
In the beginning, there were two trees.
Oh no! Wait a minute!
Come on now.
You're not finna. You finna take my line, man. You finna. I'm gonna see if you going where I'm going.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna use to back up what I was finna say. Go ahead, go with it.
There's two trees.
The devil didn't create nothing.
He ain't create nothing.
God created everything.
God created everything. There were two trees in the midst of the garden. The tree of life and also the tree of knowledge and evil.
Okay, so he created all of that before he made man. Man was the last thing he made.
And the last thing.
So he had already created that before man got here.
Yeah.
And now, so he had created evil. He created evil in that tree, which is why he said, don't y'all eat from this tree.
Yeah, because God already knew what was there. You know, God already knew what was there. And see, here's another thing. So when you get into the Bible and when you get into God's word,
man, I got to give you some dap on that one, man, because it's so. I ain't mean to cut you off, but that's a peak moment for me because to me, how is it that you don't get that? How is it you don't understand that? How is it that you're so caught up in the way you are and talking about how you believe and you stand by what God said and you going to dance your way around that right there? You can't dance your way around that.
You can't dance that. And listen to this. And even God sent a lying spirit to the prophet so he can lie.
Thank you.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people be talking about like they know God. Do you really know God?
Exactly.
You know, do you really know who God really is?
You know, when you talk about David, people don't get it. See, when they get caught up on that verse about David, a man after God's own heart, they stuck right there. But let me tell you something. David was a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
He was ruthless, dog.
David was nothing to play with.
You think he was something to play with from the time he was 12? When nobody else would go out there to slay the giant.
Yeah.
You see how big his heart was?
Yeah.
David had no fear in him.
God sent David on missions.
Yeah.
Where David wreaked pure havoc. There's a passage where David went on a mission and he didn't spare women or children.
Children, none of them, because God told him not to.
You see what I'm saying?
God told him to kill animals too.
And he
burned everything.
And he took the plunder.
Yeah.
And in those days, it was supposed to be like a wrong to take the plunder.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Unless God tells you.
Yeah. And David took the plunder.
Yeah.
And you tell me that ain't a bad mother, shut your mouth.
Yeah. David
That's
was
a bad boy. David wasn't nothing to play with, man.
David wasn't nice. And I want to tell you who else wasn't nice. Either Joshua. Joshua.
Them was some bad boys.
Them was some bad boys. But see, what you got to understand is people like, you know, God know who his warriors are. Mm-hmm. He know who his lions is. Because just like me, I tell a whole bunch of people I'm a lion from the tribe of Judah. Because I know who I am.
Right.
Because see, I have no problem dying for the cause. And that's real. You know, when I went into the military, I knew what I was going into the military to do.
Right.
I wasn't going in there to be no cook. I wasn't going in there to turn no wrenches, fist in no tank. I went in there to be a soldier.
Right.
You know, because that is something that I was born with from a little kid. I used to play with G.I. Joe, all that. But also, God did not make me stupid at the same time. He gave me a lot of wisdom and knowledge and understanding for a lot of things. So therefore, when I talk about God, I get a real warm feeling inside my soul because I know that I don't just listen to every doctrine to and fro that's in the wind. Right. Because the best way that I got the chance to know God was is I built me a real deep, strong, personal relationship. Because you got to understand this. In the Old Testament, everybody that God came to, he came to them alone. And they had a personal relationship with God. Each and every one.
And see, the thing that I want, the point that I want to make about this conversation that I'm having with Jerome is that for those of you who are in the church, who believe the Bible and you trust God, you love God, you're doing the best that you can to be a Christian, but you got this little hang up about when you come across a man who has been in prison, and then you get uncomfortable or you have this whatever negative, however, whatever level it is on the scale between 1 to 10, whatever that is, you got to remind yourself that a lot of the men that you uphold and praise in the Bible, they was in prison. You know? They were some bad mothers, shut your mouth. Them boys have done some things that you could never do. And they did prison time, and some of them did it more than one time. And so how is it that you can justify upholding them to the highest of standards, and then a real human being that you know who has been in prison, you want to write that person off? Is it because that real person you know is not actually in the Bible versus the people that's actually in the Bible that you've read about and how you feel about the Bible itself? You really need to think about that. You really need to explore that. You really need to talk to God and meditate, fast, whatever you got to do to really ask God for some real clarity and understanding about that. You know, do you know this big thing they trying to make out of Mark Cuban, when Mark Cuban said, well, if he walking down the street and he see a guy with a hoodie on, he probably go across the street. And he said something, he used that as a black example, and I think he used a white example to say that if he saw a white dude with, what did he say, tattoos?
With tattoos and bald head.
Yeah, bald head, he'll go across the street again, you know. Well, you know what? I ain't mad with Mark for that. I think I get where Mark was coming from with that. The point that I'm going to make off of that, which I hope is the point that Mark was making, is that if you see trouble, you know, you do what you can to avoid trouble. You know, but you can't take and say, oh, look at them two black men doing an interview. That got to be negative.
No, that because...
You see what I'm saying? Because why? How we look.
See,
you gotta have some wisdom. You know?
You cannot look at this as being a negative when someone is really talking about things that they know about. You know, we're not talking about scheming together. Let's go build us some bombs and plant these over there or nothing like that. No. Okay, a lot of people don't understand the message Malcolm X was bringing. Dr. Martin Luther King. You know, and that's the sad part about it is because how did we ever get away from his message? You know, what Dr. King did. And then, but on Martin Luther King Day, That's about the only day you're going to see a bunch of black people really get together and be united as one. And there's another place where you'll see a bunch of black people at. And that's on Facebook.
You know what? Facebook got the advantage.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
With Martin Luther King, they do that for just a few hours.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
A few hours.
Yeah.
How long it take for them to gather,
Yeah.
march?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And socialize
Yeah.
after the march.
Yeah.
And do whatever.
Yeah, they close shop the
activities and
next
stuff
year.
like that. And then somewhere around the time the sun go down,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
But
like you say, next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, they just close shop the next year.
Hold on, we're gonna take a break right now, and we're gonna go to a commercial, and we're gonna be right back.
Need some help with moving? Got some stuff that needs hauling away? Looking for the right professional? Don't hurt your back. Look no further. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. You want it transported or you want it gone? Whether it's household items or just plain old trash. Call Iron Man Moving and Labor. We've got the best rates in town. Pick up the phone and call 352-575-5266 and let the Iron Man work for you.
Okay, I'm back. Well, we're back with my new friend Jerome Thorpe here right here. This brother has given us a wealth of talent. We only got about 3 minutes left in the show. Jerome, I want you to just, I'm going to give you these last 3 minutes to say whatever, man. It is not going to be enough time, but whatever you feel in your heart you want to tell everybody. Just look straight into this camera right here, man, and just have it your way.
All right. Okay. A lot of y'all know me, and then there's a lot of y'all who really don't know me, and then there are some that I hope that listen to the show that you had the opportunity to really get to know what's going on inside of me. There's a lot of things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get the chance to really talk about, and so I'm gonna get this little time now, and I'm gonna make it short. What I love so much about what this brother has allowed me to do is to come and share a part of my life. Let me give you a part of my message of who I am and what I've been through in my life, and to still be standing here today and to be grateful for everything that I've been through in my life. You know, I don't regret nothing that I've done. You know, there might be some people that I regret that I have hurted, but I don't regret that the way my life have been to mold me and shape me into the person that I am today. Because you know they say it take a whole bunch of pressure to turn some coal into a diamond. And so what I have to do is I have to be grateful to God and foremost for allowing me the opportunity to be here to share my experience, strength, and hope to those out there who still are struggling with what they want to do with their life. And the number one thing that I had to do to change my life, I had to change everything about me. And that's where it all began at the process. You know, I stopped letting women be my gods. I stopped letting drugs be my God. I stopped letting clothes be my God. And so I called on the real God, the true and living God that care about me. And that's where it all started at. And I'm so glad that he allowed me on my journey in life to meet this brother. And I know and I hope that this will not be the last time that I'll be here appearing on his show, so that I can further give you more inspiration on what I did with my life to help me continue to grow each and every day, because we only got one day. And so each and every day I wake up, I try to do the best I can with what I got in that day. And it's been real nice being on your show, Barry.
Man, I have really enjoyed it, man. You're a very wise man, and you've said some things, man, that's pure gold nuggets, man, for a lot of people. Especially from the family spectrum.
Yeah.
You got mothers out there who concerned and appreciating what you're saying.
Yeah.
You got fathers who are out here and appreciate. You got fathers who are incarcerated and they appreciate what you're saying because they got sons and they want to try to prevent their sons from being in there where they at.
Yeah.
You got grandfathers, you got wives, you got baby mamas, you got the whole spectrum, man, that is is benefiting from everything that you said, man. And it is very important because you are pure.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate and respect, that you pure.
Yeah,
you know?
appreciate that, man.
And that's what this show needed, is nothing but pure. I could not have had a better guest on this show. And I'm grateful for it, and I would love to have you back, man.
Oh,
because
no problem.
There's a bunch of other topics that we gotta delve into,
yeah,
man.
I'm really enjoying this, man. You know, it's just like when I was coming over here, I was thinking like so many things that I really want to say, but I know that there's only so much you can get in such a lot of time, you know.
Right.
And and let me just say this right here to those out there that's struggling with drugs or anything that y'all are struggling with, there's also hope for that too.
Absolutely.
You know, so just get in touch with Barry and get in touch with me, and I can help you in so many areas of your life.
And you look on the screen right there, you will see my contact information, and you can hit me up. And if you want to correspond with Jerome directly, I will make that happen for you. And as you can see, he will be more than happy to talk with you. And if you are a mother and you would like for him to speak with your son or your daughter or your teenager, you know, he'll be happy to do that for you.
Very happy.
So here's a man that's been there. He was incarcerated from 1989 to 2002. That says a whole lot. And since from 2002 to 2014 moving forward, he has not been back to jail
at all.
And he's been very productive in the community. And he's counted on and looked to accomplish a lot of things. He's helping so many people right now. So I appeal to you to hit me up. There's the information on the screen. Hit me up. I'm gonna put you in touch with Jerome directly. And brother, thanks again for being on the show.
I am more than
we'll see y'all next time on the Barry M Show Live.
The Barry M, y'all.
And let me know when you want me to bring him back, because I'm gonna bring him back.
Barry M time.
And we gonna make it real, and we gonna make it happen.
I know that's right.
Until next time, we'll see you.
Peace
thanks
out.
Again.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah.
You ready down, man.
Yeah. You ready.
If there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to, girl, it's you, baby. If there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to, girl, it's you, baby. And if there's anyone that I know I took the sun away from, hey, I know it's you, baby. At the time I didn't know me, I couldn't even control me. The last thing I wanted was for you to be the one I fronted. I thought only of myself, broke my own heart when I left you. And I'm sorry, baby, 'cause you didn't deserve it. And I'm sorry. If there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to, girl, it's you, baby. And if there's anyone that I know I took the sun away from, hey, I know it's you, baby. If you can't forgive me, I can understand it, but I want you to know it was not the way I planned it. I was a boy inside, tweaking my pride, left you in the cold, my ugly was bold. And I'm sorry, baby, 'cause you there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to, girl, it's you, baby. And if there's anyone that I know I took the sun away from, hey, I know it's you, lady. If you can't forgive me, girl, I can understand it. Still, I want you to know it was not the way I planned it. So if there's anybody that I need to say I'm sorry to, girl, it's you, baby. And if there's anyone that I know I took the sun away from, hey, I know it's you, lady. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Please, please forgive me. I know that I'm the one that took the sun away from you, and I'm truly sorry.